Hey, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you guys. Stacy, Jason, King in here. I need some chapstick. All right. Had a good national anthem. We're about to get the command to start engines. Zach Brown, I've heard of that person. Sasquatch is there. Yes! I tweeted Jack Links last week sometime, maybe even just a few days ago. And I asked him why the Sasquatch wasn't Grand Marshal of the race, but now he's there with the Grand Marshals. I know they probably already had it planned. I mean, 100% they did. But I was on top of it. I tried to get Sasquatch to be the Grand Marshal of today's race. I did my part. I did my part. Let's see. I'm guessing PNW, that's Pacific Northwest made. Just a guess. Maybe it's Pennsylvania. No, that wouldn't make sense. But probably be the 23 car again. Very sus. Could be. Could be. I wouldn't doubt the Toyotas run really well here today. I mean, they've run well all season, but they ran really strong here last spring. And, you know, Bubba's pretty good at the plate tracks. I think he finished, what, second or something in the 43 during the Daytona 500. And that wasn't a good team. So, I mean, he can get it done. Talladega is technically his home track. I don't know if he would claim it because he gets booed during driver introductions. Man, a lot of comments on one of my YouTube shorts. I'm just reading through that. I need to create our live stream for the post-race coverage. Schedule. Where's our last post-race show? There it is. Pacific Northwest made. That's good. That's good. Beautiful part of the country. At one point in my life, I wanted to live there. The guy who influenced me to go into my career field lives up there just outside of Seattle. And I mean, I'm sure you're aware of all the tech companies that are up there near Seattle, Redmond, all in that area. That's my kind of weather. Both answers. I like 60-degree days, and I like tornadoes. Fantastic. Good to see you, Christian. hope you're having a. I'm dying here. Hope you're having a fine Sunday. You're outside Seattle. Let me see if I can pronounce this place. Issaquah. That's where my buddy lives. Call my buddy. He's much older than me. He was a big influence on my career path. Bald Brian. Good to have you. Another Pacific Northwest. Company you work for is in Seattle? Would it happen to be Starbucks? Now, from what I hear from him, a lot of his buddies prefer Pete's coffee. We don't have Pete's in my area. So like the few times we've been around a place with a Pete's, I always point it out to my wife. I'm like, it's Pete's. Now let me turn on chat replay for this post race. That's fine. And we will redirect to the Y files. And then we will turn it on. Let's go ahead and go 6 p.m. to be conservative. Three-time Talladega. What? Is that real? You work for Amazon? A lot of big companies. A lot of companies are moving out of Washington. Yeah, there's there's been some of that. There's been some companies leaving the northeastern states, northwestern states, California. The corporate, part of the company, they're always going to do what's best for the bottom line. And so even if their employees like living in California, like living in Washington, like living in Vermont, wherever, they'll just move the company, move them down to a Nashville, to a Dallas, somewhere that's presumably a little cheaper cost of living, but also much cheaper corporate tax rate. It's just how it goes. But I feel like we've seen a lot more of it in the last 6 years. We have a NASCAR Truck Series question. Do we think Grant Enfinger's retiring after this year? That could go either way. He just hasn't struck me as being that. I mean, he's never been like a very high-strung or vocal guy, but this year, whenever I've seen him interviewed, he just doesn't seem completely present. Amazon sponsoring Chase. All right. Yeah, I think they're trying to advertise the upcoming Amazon Prime broadcasting portion of the schedule, which is my favorite. Let me go ahead and pull up YouTube TV so I can have a real-time replay. All right. 188 laps, 500 miles. We did that 3 times this week. We raced on NASCAR 03, 05, and NASCAR 25. So I got close to 2,000 miles with all the restarts I did and other, just testing. I was turning the laps. I think I just saw a AI generated commercial on. I'm just looking at the previews for these channels. That was weird. Yes, for sure, for sure. It's my honor and privilege. They are broadcasting this race in 4K if you have a 4K TV package. It's going to be upscaled, not true 4K, but it does look better. If I wasn't streaming here, I would be in the living room watching in 4K. Yeah, Amazon's just so popular now. I know back in the day when Prime first became a thing, I don't have that pulled up at the moment, so I wouldn't have it yet. Oh, wow. Yeah, Jason just sent a picture of a 30-inch pizza. That's crazy. Literally one slice. That would be enough. More than enough. Let me go ahead and pull up Twitter for our replays. We can watch the opening laps live on Twitter. Interesting. They're trying to bait people into getting Fox One packages. How to watch in 4K? You have to have the 4K YouTube TV bundle or whatever. Or, whatever other cable package I'm at. But I'm pretty sure you're on YouTube TV which is why I said that specifically. Another question: do you think Nice 4240 Top 5 Spire 777 trucks will stay All-Star or get full time? Depends on if they can find somebody that brings a ton of money, or if they have one specific person they're like trying to bring up to Cup very quickly. How do we still have weepers? Did it rain overnight? Let me pull up the radar. We're clear today. I'm not seeing much else. Kansas City's about to get smacked by a squall line. But that's no concern for us. All right, so I don't need the radar up. We're pretty clear for today. I know it rained here. I don't know if it rained there. Man, if they had done that car a little bit differently, that would almost look like the William Byron car. It would almost look like a 90s paint scheme. Maybe if they go with like a light blue instead of a white. But I understand why they went with white. All right, green flag is out. The fans are on their feet. They're littering that place with beer. Golly. Use the trash can. Bunch of animals. All right, Larson to the lead. He's going to pull in front of Reddick. And Hamlin being pushed by Briscoe. Huge move. So Hamlin to the lead. Inside line's a little more broken up than the outside. But the inside line, they have two Toyotas stacked up. Hamlin's up there, Briscoe's up there, and then we have Wallace and Reddick working together. Oh, man. What did I do? Broke the leaderboard at some point. King Mako, good to see you. Yeah, I want an aircraft carrier inside of Talladega. Why not? It fits the theme. Imagine the viewing opportunities from the deck of the aircraft carrier. Be fantastic. And then use the nuclear generator to put lights around the track. We're thinking big here. Tiberium, good to see you. I would have to know more about a lot of the ARCA guys. It's, you know, Gio's already moved up, but he's still running ARCA. If someone else was in the 18, I would say they're going to move up. Jake Bowman, he may have funding or he may have Gibbs' blessing, but I'm not sold on him yet. He'd probably run fine in trucks, but I need to see more pace. All right, we're 3 wide already. Let's keep an eye. Let's keep an eye on the lap times. 51.6 isn't too far off the pace, so I'm not too worried about that. I just want to make sure we're not egregiously fuel saving. This first stage is 98 laps, which is longer than yesterday's ARCA race, and not quite as long as the O'Reilly race, but almost. This is everyone's reminder to check in on the NASCAR Fan Rewards program. Get your free points. Come on. There we go. Got my points. Good stuff. They're still live on Twitter. We're really trying to bait people in. Wonder if Brayton will get an opportunity to race in trucks. It comes down to money. I like him. I follow him on Twitter. I believe Jake Bowman, Thomas Annunziata. Annunziata's a good pick too. Wayne Bell for the win. We'll keep an eye on him. The Toyotas are looking really strong, so if Bell gets up there, he has a good shot right now. Briscoe in the lead. Hamlin behind him on the inside. Ty Gibbs is up there. Now, Reddick and Wallace have fallen back. You can't really pay too much attention to these positions outside of whoever's in the top like 5, because you can go from like 8th to 14th in a lap and then back to 8th the next lap because we're 3 wide. Chase further back, 9th. Qualifying was rained out, so I believe they fell back on points. So Bowman's back there. Zilich is back there, and SVG. They're running 52.7s back there. Front of the pack running a 52. Yeah, we are fuel saving already. SVG in the back of the pack running 178. And SVG is about to lose the draft. Better tuck up here on the high side. Get behind. I think that's McDowell back there. See, it would be wild. So they're going to be, you know, fuel saving here. And as soon as they get in their fuel window, we'll see them come down and then take a splash of fuel, you know, just as short of a stop as they can get. And sometimes you'll see a team underfill the car. So we might see someone run out of fuel coming to the end of the stage. So I know that's, you know, 35 minutes off from now, 40 minutes off from now at least. But let's keep an eye on it. You found a new flavor of energy drink earlier. Guava flavored NOS Energy. See, I'm a purist. Just got my Monster Energy every time. Same flavor. And then deal with all this fancy white Monster, orange Monster, purple Red Bull. No. Just got my normal stuff. You think you figured out who Cletus is going to race for at Talladega in trucks. The 2 and 22 trucks for Ryumi are both Fords. Don't have drivers for Talladega. Now, I know, like, he's with Ford in ARCA, but Cletus doesn't necessarily have a manufacturer affiliation. So, you know, and he's with RCR in the Xfinity series, and at his home he has a Chevrolet logo shaped swimming pool. So if he has his choice, I think he's gonna try to stick with a Chevy. But if it has 4 wheels and an engine, I don't think he's gonna turn down the ride, whatever it is. Running 54.25. Are you Why is Chad Fincham the leader? What happened? Is Chad Fincham running off from the pack? See, I'm not fuel saving. Good luck, boys. I'm going at it. Yes, we need Monster to sponsor desperately. Except, I would have to change the color of my green screen, because if I was like wearing their merchandise, the logo would disappear. See, the green part of my shirt disappears. Go, Chad Fincham, go! If he just drives full speed, he won't have any drafting help, obviously, but I don't know, let's say he cuts like 0.2 a lap. They pit in 30 more laps. He would have to stay on pit road for longer, but he would make up a lot, like he would make up some time. I mean, if he had anybody running with him, it might be doable. Chad Fincham said, I'm getting my team on TV, baby. Let's go, Chad. That is so cool. Hey, that's genius. That Chad Fincham's a genius. If the rest of the field's gonna run around the track 4 seconds off the pace, let's go up and lead this thing and get on TV. Because even if they're not talking about you, they have to show you. Genius. I gotta tweet about that. Oh my goodness, Chad Fincham and Cody Ware fighting for the lead. Who had that on their bingo card? MBM looking for a sponsorship for other races. Now is the best time to do it. Yeah, it's very smart. Get your sponsor on TV, get your car on TV. Then whenever you're going to talk to future companies that you may want to partner with, you can show them this footage. That's our car on TV. That could be your sponsor right there. And then just leave out the part where you run 35th every week. But right now it looks really good. Sometimes I think guys just go a lap down so they can run near the leaders and get on TV. That's my conspiracy theory. All right, what lap times are we running right now? It's picked up a little bit. We've picked up about two seconds, really. How about further back? Saving a bit more. Compare this to our O'Reilly race yesterday. Even the ARCA race was pretty good. For an ARCA race, it was fantastic. That's about the best ARCA race you're going to see on a plate track. Jeff Vincent and Cody Ware at the front of the field. Who would have ever... That's right. Who would have ever thought? I love it. This is awesome. Went to Walmart today and grabbed a box of the new Ritz Bits flavored charged cheese pizza. Yeah, Fincham's getting it done. Toyotas? Oh, he definitely said Toyotas. He's done that since Toyota got in the sport. Which, if I'm not mistaken, might be more accurate. Yeah, so Toyota. I'm going to type it in chat. The chairman and the guy whose family started this company, his name's spelled with a D. Toyota. And they already had a company called Toyota with a D. And so when they funded their auto company, they changed it to Toyota. So technically, Larry is accurate on this. They are Toyotas. Larry knows what he's doing. America's crew chief. He can be Japan's crew chief. Where's Bowman? They canceled qualifying, so Bowman started probably in dead last. So working his way up to 25th. I mean, that's not bad. Now we're down to 50-second laps. So it looks like they've gotten the all clear to actually run fast laps now. NASCAR told Denny they're going to take away his extra horsepower if Chad keeps leading. It's a conspiracy to keep the man down. Yeah, I mean, they picked it up. They were running over 54-second lap times at one point, and now we're down to 50.4. So that's a 4-second reduction in lap time. Chad's leading that rear pack. So they're a 10th off what the leader's running at times. Oh, Jesse Love in the field. Jesse Love jump scare there. Look at that. RCR up there. Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon getting it done. All the back markers up front today. Man, ton of notifications I missed. Bowman up to 22nd. Where's Bell? Let's check on Bell for Wayne. Elliott further back. Wallace was in, I think, the top 5 when we started, and running back in 30th. And where did Reddick go? Reddick also back there. So the 23-11 guys playing a completely different ball game than the JGR team up here. And then Bell's like doing his own thing. Bell doesn't care. I'm not on Gibbs' team. I'm not a Toyota. Chad Fincham still fighting for a top 10. Now we're at 50.1. We've really picked up the pace. You think BJ should bring Catherine Legg back for Indy? Yeah, Catherine, you know, she's never in the best rides, but when she's out there, she's usually really respectful of the leaders when they come by to lap. And she takes care of it. You know, she survived, what was it, the Mexico City race, and didn't wreck the car, even though guys like Hocevar wrecked multiple times. That was a wild race. Noah Gragson versus a new road course. Yeah, Elliott should definitely pick it up a bit. I'm not sure what he's doing back here. Now we're under 49 seconds. So even guys in the back of the pack have picked up the pace. 50. Yeah, I mean, we're just continually picking up pace here. So it seems like they've saved enough to run all out on this tank. Ah, that's weird. We'll just have to see how this plays out. Poor Helio. I feel so bad for him. He won a race in the SRX on an oval. The promise there is if he won a race on an oval, that he would get a cup ride. And so he raced in, I think, what, ARCA, maybe also in Xfinity and then Cup, and he wrecked in every single one in the same weekend. I mean, that was horrible. Jason said he just got a text from his buddy Mike Parker. Him and his wife are both at Talladega right now. Well, tell them to wave at us. I'm sure we'll see them out of the 100,000 people that are in the stands. Hocevar in that black Intimidante scheme. Ah, and Chase is in a black prime scheme. I think last year it was white and blue. We got black and blue today. These strategies are very different and very weird. So Herb's still back here. Reddick's with him. Joey Gase is the only guy who's really lost the pack, but still on the lead lap as of now. No help. So by the end of the stage, he will go down a lap, more than likely. All right, Reddick's complaining about something. Doing a 50.8 back here. We see some 49s on the leaderboard. Then he's almost out of 49. So it's a 50 flat towards the front of the pack and closer to 51 seconds further back. P. Carker the best. I'm going to say it's just Parker the best. He says he's at Talladega right now. That's awesome. This is the first spring Talladega race I haven't been to in ages. Like 2 decades. The thing about Catherine is, you know, she's raced in all kinds of different disciplines, so she has experience behind the wheel, but she is older, so there comes a certain point where you start investing in younger talent, even if they are part-time. But man, if they ever put Mexico City back on the schedule, she's my first call. If I have a part-time team. Chad Fincham still just outside the top 10. He's holding on. Running pretty well. Not a lot of Ford help for guys like Cody Ware up here. Joey Gase now 25 seconds behind. Running about 4 seconds off the pace. They're running 49.2s now. Further back, man, they were really saving fuel earlier. We ran 54-second laps, over 54 seconds. And now we have guys running 49. You found retro Jeff Gordon t-shirts at Walmart today for $10. Yeah, Hendrick announced it. I'm on their text message list. They announced the shirts. The one I saw though, it was a Jeff Gordon Camaro with Exalta. That's the one I saw. That's technically not retro, considering he never ran a Camaro outside of in iRacing a couple times. But it's not a bad looking shirt, and it's $10. So I may try to track one down. The thing about it, the one I saw, it was also a black shirt. I know I'm wearing a black shirt, but I have a dog who drops hair like crazy, and so anything black I wear, I have to stay away from my dog, or it just ends up pretty much ruined. I think Arco race was more interesting running single file than Cup running single file. I think the Cup guys, when they want to, can pack up a lot faster than the ARCA guys could. And even the O'Reilly race would have ended, and it probably would have packed up at the very, very end, but the field was really strung out until Rajah Caruth, the lap car, broke up the pack. And then William Sawalich was actually the one that ended up turning Sam Mayer at the end. A lap down car took out a guy fighting for the lead. Carson Hocevar's biggest fan asked, where is Carson Hocevar? Running 29th right now, 49.6. So that's a pretty fast lap. See if he can get some help. Maybe get us a good stop. Like, these guys are so split apart. Like Chase, you think Chase would want to pit with his teammates, but Chase is back here riding around in the back, taking care of it. That's fine. But the further away from your teammates you are, the more likely you are to have to pit with other manufacturers, and then you may not get help leaving the pits, and you also may not be as organized. These guys, Priest, Brad Keselowski, Buescher, they've done a great job of staying together. Logano's also with them. Brad knows how to work with Joey really well. So those Fords are really close together, really well packed up. And the Hendrick guys are just scattered to the wind, just nowhere near each other. RCR, though, they're staying pretty close. Jesse Love not too far back. Cody Ware still up here. Fincham still up here. Good run so far for Josh Berry. So, we have our Penske guy, our one Penske guy, and then most of our Fords back here. And then we have Blaney and Berry running further ahead. They need to fall back a bit, get hooked up with their team, and make up some time leaving pit road. Reddick's still playing it safe back here. 37th right now. And he has the points lead. I mean, he really has no reason to be running up front right now. "45 seconds back. Joey Gase. It'll only take a couple more laps, and he's going to go down a lap. We should see him come into frame here if they go wide angle on the back stretch. We're at 50 flat, so a little off the pace, but pretty much wide open there. With a good draft, you'll see a guy run like a 49.1, maybe a 49.2. All right, Larson and Bowman are grouped up. Maybe they'll try to make a move here. Chase still further back. Where's Hocevar? We'll check on him again. Golly. All right, so it looks like the Spire guys have their plan. Back here in 38th, 39th. Daniel Suarez way further ahead. We're at 40 of 98. So we're probably close to stops. We may get one more side-by-side commercial before then. Is that Ty Dillon down? That looks like a Ty Dillon scheme. All right, Joey Gase now officially down a lap. Yeah, it was Ty Dillon. Look at that. We were pointing them out earlier. The RFK guys in Ford, they are marching to the front. They've got, oh, Busch is waving. They're waving. Inside lines coming down this lap. 8 cars down pit road. Should be watching that screen more often. It's more up to date. Brad's awesome. Yeah, I like Brad. I used to hate him. I hated him. I was a Gordon guy, and so obviously there was some rivalry there. You wish it was a retro DuPont scheme with a Chevy Lumina body, but that would be beautiful. Yeah, technically, the company is Axalta now, but now even Axalta's rebranded. They merged with another group or got bought out, something, whatever happened, business things, and that's why Raptor's been on the car whenever they've been with Byron. But even Axalta and Raptor, they've been backing down their sponsorship year after year, because they used to be pretty much a full season sponsor with Gordon, even if they weren't the primary. Like if he was running Pepsi on the car. Uh-oh. Briscoe really messed up that stop. Even if Pepsi was on the car, DuPont would still be a secondary. Are we really surprised? No, not really. Especially after he lost the draft and was running 4 seconds off the pace every lap. SVG running better than Byron. Let me tell you. We'll just say this one time. Hopefully I don't have to say it again. Running position does not matter until you cross the start-finish line. Especially at this track. Especially at this track. But this first stage is pretty much a throwaway, because this stage is pretty much twice as long as the second and third stages. So they should be going pretty much all out in stage 2 and 3. So the end of this race should be really, I wouldn't say really competitive. It should be more competitive. But that's always been a strategy since Daytona and Talladega have been pack races. You'll see guys go run around in the back of the pack. Like, okay, you know, these two are not doing it intentionally, but they're back here. And then, what happened to Denny here? Why is he score behind Ty? Denny Hamlin too fast entering. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. I have the broadcast playing, but I'm not really listening to it. Yeah. Yes, Jeff Gordon was a short time Coca-Cola guy. Yeah, they are not in a good position here. But once the leaders pit, they may get their lap back, but they're going to be separated from the pack. So yeah, they may just lose it again. So yeah, they're not in a great place. All right, Ford's coming down this time. Here they come. Oh. Joey might have been speeding there. Just keep our eye on it. Melissa said, go Bubba. I like to see some positivity. This is Bubba's home track. Even if a lot of the fans in attendance don't like him, he gets booed every time there at Talladega. Oh, Brad missed his box. Or he tried to leave early. I'm not really sure what happened there. He's going to get out with the other Fords, though, so he's not left behind. But Brad's going to lose a ton of spots there on pit road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 positions. And almost lost that pack. Thank you, George. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for liking and supporting the stream, but most of all, thank you for hanging out and just talking about the race or talking about racing in general. Love doing it. Cindric missed his pit box. A lot of mistakes on pit road. A lot of mistakes. Yeah, Christian, you're on top of this, man. You are on top of it. Man, a lot of these guys are going to be having to work off penalties the rest of this race. See, Hamlin's gotten his lap back. But we still have, pretty much 50 laps to go in this stage. They may run down Hamlin again before the end of this stage. Yeah, George. Put this into Google. What I just put in chat. Put that into Google and go to that link. Allegedly, hypothetically, you would go to that link, and then you click schedule, and then you will see a link to the race. Hypothetically. Thank you for asking, George. Most people just come in here, put on the race. It's like, sorry, I wish I could, but I'll gladly try to help you find the race. I want as many people watching the race as possible. And Chase, not around any other Hendrick guys. Byron and Larson a bit closer together. Bowman's even ahead of Chase. Bowman's been just fighting his way forward all race. Started in dead last, most likely. That's rough. Half drink 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew from the Brickyard 400 when he drove the 88. That is a one-of-a-kind thing. Good race so far. After seeing the O'Reilly race and seeing them be 3 wide actually racing and passing, guys could fall back to 30th and then 2 laps later be back in the top 5. This doesn't do it for me. It's all right, and we just have to get through this stage because the next 2 are shorter and there should not be any fuel saving. So that's when the race will really start. Once we get through lap 98, things should pick up. A 5-car breakaway at the front of the pack. The lap times don't reflect it yet, but yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars breaking away at the front of the pack. We have 2 purple cars on the outside. Alex Bowman has found William. No, I thought it was William Byron. Thought he was pulling up behind a Valvoline scheme, but that's Larson in the Valvoline scheme today. So Bowman's behind Zillage. Zillage working his way up. So Zillage and Bowman, and even SVG, have all worked themselves from running down here to all the way back up, you know, challenging just outside the top 10. Not bad. But Zillage and Bowman are on the outside. SVG's on the inside line. A lot of the Fords still relatively close. Brad messed up on that stop, so he fell a bit further back. Busher may be able to help him here in a bit. Right now, Brad has Chase Elliott right behind him. So Chase Elliott's separating Brad and Busher. Also running the inside line. Hamlin's about to go down a lap here. He doesn't have any help. At least not any on the lead lap. He's running 52-second laps. So we talked about it a bit earlier. Because they have been fuel saving and they took as, little fuel as they could, we might see guys run out. And they were just talking about it. Larson's team may have not gotten him enough fuel. It doesn't sound like they do have enough fuel, and they need him to save. Where's he? He's running 13th. Like, that's not in a great position to save fuel. Larson may not make it to the end. Now, if he's able to run with the leaders, in theory, he could come down with 5 to go, take a splash of fuel, literally a splash of fuel, and then go back out on track, finish the stage, and he would probably finish on the lead lap. It would be close. Time it takes to get down pit road, leave by yourself. I mean, at the bare minimum, he might be the first car lap down at that point. You got to try. Melissa, I have a Roblox account. I don't actively play it, but on occasion I hop on there and just see what's happening. It's way different from when I played it growing up. George, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I usually test it first before I recommend it. Do I pray? Yeah, I would say I've played enough Roblox to say I play it. I like the shooting simulators. I think there was one called like Memphis Simulator or something. I enjoyed that one. And back in my day, I like the disaster, like survive the disasters, like asteroids and zombies, or it was fun. But today you can build whole games in Roblox. I've seen all the NASCAR games on there. Some of them are pretty popular. Jason said he might go swimming after the race is over. You won't have long. You got to get out there as soon as the checkered flag flies. Shavon Gibson, host of ours, winning today. Interesting. Interesting. Christian said he's fighting boredom so bad, so he keeps typing in chat. NASCAR's hypnotic, especially if they're just making laps and you just hear the rise and fall of the RPM, which you won't hear that much here. But especially back in the day, a place like Kansas that was primarily a single groove track, guys split apart by seconds, you would just hear the engines rise and fall. Up to 9,000 RPM, down to 5,000, up to 9,000. It puts you to sleep. Yes, we broke out the Dale hat today because, we're at Dega. And like the back of my shirt, we're doing it for Dale. Give me ad. I don't know what my username is. That and like I don't have it downloaded currently. Maybe one day I'll hop on there. I've had a few people request that we do some NASCAR games on there. You have lights above the pool, lights that change. So yeah, it'll be well lit, but it'll probably, may cool down a bit. What's the weather up there? Man, you're gonna be cold out there. I'm sure you can handle it though, Jason. Viking DNA. Christian said he's happy with NASCAR 25. Most fun he's had in the NASCAR game so far. Only complaint is the pitting and the setups when improved and more options. Yeah, I wish they would, under each option, under each setting for your car in the setup screen, they explain to you exactly what its purpose is, what lowering it will do, what raising it will do, and just kind of walk you through that. That way, you know, everyone has their own chance to make a good setup. But the thing is, from what I've seen, the setups in the game are not at all accurate to real life, because a lot of the tires, you just lower them as much as they'll go. So you're like 15 psi left sides, 15 psi right sides. You would never do that. You wouldn't equalize your tire pressure. So a lot of the setups just seem to be kind of cheesing the game's physics. Want to scroll up to the front runners? That's a good idea. Not that you'll see much movement up here. The Spire master plan. It's a heated pool. Oh, well, you're really living it up. Not bad. Ready for younger brother Steven to get the hot tub up and running. Not bad, Jason. Now you just got to put some burgers on the grill and you'll really be making it. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Yeah, every once in a while, I'll scroll down to check something, and then I go into another tab and forget to scroll back up. Now I'm dealing with, like, so many screens in here. All right. Speaking of the three, he was challenging for the lead there. Kyle Busch, where is he in relation? They have him scored 6th. He's running that inside line. Kyle did not go to the outside. Oh, is Austin going to slot back in? Austin Dillon slotted back into the inside line. The outside line is falling apart. Now, leading this pack are two guys about to go down a lap, I should say. Briscoe and Hamlin. The only thing keeping them on the lead lap is Ty Gibbs being the leader. So we have JGR. Like 1, 2, 3, but only one of them's running for position. And Cody Ware's in 3rd. This is pretty wild. Byron and Bowman have finally joined each other. Larson and Elliott are grouped up. So 2 little HMS tandems. And let's see. Has anyone else found each other? SVG, Zillage near each other. Suarez. I know there's some bad blood between the two groups, but they are all Chevys. So a little Chevy group here. Oh yeah, a lot of Chevys together. 2 Fords. Jesse Love 31st right now. Maybe he can hook up with the Hendrick guys. All right, Kyle just tried to jump out to the outside line. Didn't make up any ground. he's trying to, make something happen, but that outside line is not very strong. Just a couple guys up there. The only reason they're able to run on the outside with 2 cars is because we're running so far off the pace. Everyone's saving fuel right now. Larson went from running just outside the top 10. They told him to save fuel. Now he's back there in 28th, but he's at least with a teammate. Oh, okay. Ty Gibbs down pit road. And Hamlin came with him. Hamlin's officially down a lap here, and he does have help, coming out of pit road, so he may not go down 2 laps. Only 4 cars coming down there, and they're a bit split up, so it'll take them a while to get back up to pace. Three Toyotas. And 2 Bass Pro guys up front. I like seeing the Bass Pro guys run together. Yeah, the pitting, you've seen me do it. The pitting stuff ticks me off. I've pretty much, I'm getting close to 3 decades of experience running NASCAR games. And the fact that in every other game, you can either make your pit selections in the pause menu, but have the backup of doing them again once you hit pit road. That's the main thing, the main way these games have worked. You hit pit road, then you make your selections. Ooh, a lot of cars on pit road. A lot of cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe 13. That was a lot of cars. So another pit cycle happening here. This is going to shake up the field again. He said Priest. Jason, I swear, you just spend your time thinking up these puns. Yeah, I think she meant probably. Terry, he says, he's in Tasmania. This KO subscription ran out. You'd like to see how Giz and Zillage go. So Terry, if you're still here, I'm going to put something in the chat. If you put that in there, those 4 characters, ED12, put that in Google. The first link, it should take you to a website that hypothetically would have the race. If you need more information, let us know. I have no affiliation with that site. It's just a handy way to get people access to the race. You're on 25% races with normal wear. I like running my 4 times settings because I just love to have the tires wear. So yeah, Terry, when you get there, just go click on the schedule portion and it'll show you where you need to be. Oh, got it, Colton. Got it. You're not the only one that does that, Colton. We had a guy in here for a long time, and he'll still pop in occasionally. The account is named Gene after his mother, but it's actually Mason on the account. I think it'd be a cool feature if you can talk into your mic and tell your pit crew what to do. That was a thing on, I think, one of the PS2 games, or maybe in PS3. I can't remember. But that used to be a thing. And especially with AI, like, you think that we could get more options. I would love to be able to talk to the crew chief and tell him I'm tied in, loose off. What changes do we need? Like, fix the car. You know, basically like in the Madden games, when you do the Ask Madden and it'll suggest a play. Do that. Suggest changes. You have a question. Daniel died. Chad Fincham were together. What's the chances they try to make it to the end on what they have to get their laps back? I'm not optimistic. I do have a PS5. Although I don't get on there much. NASCAR Total Team Control. Good game. Good game. It was so fun driving your guy out to a huge lead and then switching to another car on your team, driving it to second place, switching to the other car, driving it to third place, switching it to another car, back to fourth place. And it was really fun. Or you could just switch to your teammates and wreck people. For sure, Terry, for sure. Enjoy the race. Right now, SVG's running third. And Bowman fourth. These guys have had a comeback story. Even Bell was not running great. Bubba went pretty much all the way to the back. He's back up to seventh. This running order is very shaken up with all the pit stops we've had, all the pit cycles. So we have two different groups here. These guys have already made their stops, and it looks like this group has not. They're running pretty fast laps right now, so they're probably about to come down. I think Jason has his hands full. And after the race, he's going to be swimming. Sounds like that's going to be a good time. Here's what you should do, Jason. You get some Chinese food. And you get in the pool. Except for the Kansas setup. Occasionally I'll find one that I don't like. But now that I've switched over to steering wheel, I like them a lot more. My problem with Doc's setups initially is he made them for steering wheel. They weren't meant for controller users. But he went back and made controller setups for every track. So like, even if the setup would run really well over the course of a long run, it might be super twitchy. So like if you are really good at the game, perfect. It's a great setup on controller. But if you give it a little too much input, or if you miss the corner, you're done. And, you know, possibly going to wreck. So I always had to tweak his setups when I was on controller to keep the ability to make the corner, to turn, but not be twitchy loose. But now that I'm over on wheel, I never really have an issue. Sometimes it's even too tight. I'm going to loosen it up a bit. But yeah, Doc was Doc Throttle and Ruthless Racing that did most of the setups for NASCAR 25. And man, Doc's just been all over it. Every single track, every series, on controller, on steering wheel. Ton of stuff. Oh yeah. It's a that was a massive pizza. How many slices did you eat? Because it looked like just one, like you would be able to eat. So that's a picture of the pizza Jason ate. That is a 30-inch pizza. Insane. But I don't know how big the average large pizza is, but it's got to be somewhere like 15. Let's look up Papa John's large size. $14 inches. So that's over double. Crazy. Yeah, that looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza. You cut the slice and the cheese comes off like a cartoon. Mm-hmm. Let's look further back and see what's happening. Hamlin currently scored 2 down. Briscoe has fought to stay on the lead lap. I mean, how is he making this work? Uh-oh. Briscoe, I think, may have just lost his lap. Maybe. We'll have to see how this shuffles out. The field is so split apart. You still have guys that have come down, and I'm guessing these guys still haven't stopped. Oh, they cut into party pieces. That's smart. That is smart. The laps are winding down though. 15 laps. That's quite a bit. What is 15? And 2.62. Yeah, almost 40 miles. Yeah, I mean, it's really close to 40 laps. Or no, 40 laps, 40 miles. No, Herbst all by himself. No draft help. I think he said it earlier where it was from. There's a local joint in Indiana. I heard that, Christian. Gonna be interesting. I'm definitely gonna be watching, you know, see how he does throughout the weekend. We'll see you, Melissa. Or no, Colton, I should say. Melissa's your mother. And these Chevy guys, there's not going to be that many of them coming down. And Bell still has to pit. So that's going to leave Hamlin and Briscoe. Oh, no, that'll leave Gibbs and Hamlin all by themselves. Yeah. Eric Jones further back. They could pick up Eric Jones, but he's several car lengths back. 5 cars on pit road currently. A lot of Chevys, and then we have Bell. Look at that. Eric Jones got on and off fast. Does he have enough to make it, or has he saved enough? That was a really fast stop for Jones. That's a little suspect. Yeah, Corey's been around. I always like to see familiar names pop back up. That makes me very happy. Look at Bowman in the top 5 for now. That has changed. He was with that group that just pit, so we'll have to see where they cycle back out. But either way, you know, Bowman's had to fight his way from the tail of the pack, which isn't the easiest thing to do in this package of car. If it was the O'Reilly race, I'd say, okay, you know, whatever. Still all right, but it was much easier to pass yesterday than it is today. But Bowman's made the right moves, good strategy calls, and he's wound up working with Byron here. Also have SVG with them. Eric Jones and Bell are leading that group. So they didn't lose too many spots there. Ford group out front here. And judging off their lap times, they're saving. Running below 50 here. And they're running almost evenly 51s. Chase and Hamlin scored 2 down. Cindric 2 down. Zayden Smith down 2. Other big news, Jamie McMurray will race San Diego Clint Boyer at Dover. They'll be in the 25 truck, I guess. That is really fun news. I'm looking forward to that. You know, they said it was going to be an all-star car, so I was hoping it was going to be, you know, several big names. They started with Tony Stewart. That was a huge name, and then he wrecked out of the race pretty early on. Well, got wrecked out of the race, I should say. And other than that, you really haven't seen, like, you know, superstars. Yeah, Jamie and Boyer, that's pretty cool. Christian said he thinks he's seen more lap down cars get passed than lead lap cars. Yeah, at this point. But the gap was tightening up. It's 6 to go in the stage, coming to 5 to go. And we have 2 lines developing. Fords on the inside and some Chevys on the outside. Two Toyotas leading that inside line. They were. 5 to go. Yeah. That's exactly right, Jason. Wallace here pitting and taking tires. All right, 2 laps to go in the stage. The Fords are in control right here. They have the inside line and the outside line. Outside line is not grouped up, though. Ryan Preece, he can block both lanes right now if he wanted. Three Fords clear at the front. 1, 2, 3, 6 Fords. 6 Fords at the front of the pack. They played the first stage perfectly. Only one that didn't make it was what? Ryan Preece? Oh no, Ryan Preece is still out there. They said he didn't have enough. Let's see if anyone runs out of fuel here. Final lap of stage 1. Yeah, I don't think we'll be hearing much from them. I had my finger on the button. I tried to give people chances. All right, coming to the line, 4 wide for second place. Ryan Preece scored as our stage 1 winner. They're not going to follow the second group around the line. Fox's coverage is so puzzling. Yeah, it was just a bit odd, very persistent. Well, for me, it was just the persistence. Like, if someone doesn't immediately answer you, or they say, like, you know, I'm doing something else, like, you don't keep spamming. So I had already pulled it up a couple times. I was like, I might do it, and then I you know, look back up at the race for a couple laps. I look back over, they sent like 10 messages. Oh, gotta do something about that. All right, so here's our stage 1 results. Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Josh Berry. So Ford. They said they didn't get enough fuel in Preece's car, but he made it. We have Reddick. You know, the Toyotas ran so well at the start of the race and then got really split up there. Well, Reddick was there and he just disintegrated. I think he got Thanos snapped or something. So we have another Ford and another Ford. So as they have them scored here currently, that's our top 8, all Fords. I have a little Chevy contingent here. JGR, Christopher Bell. He was the worst running Toyota, pretty, you know, I would say at least out of the JGR guys. He was the worst performing. And ended up being, I guess, the best finisher. So much went wrong there for the Gibbs and 2311 guys. That was just wild. Bubba barely staying on the lead lap there, having to come back down. They took 4, so probably a good call there. They may not have to come back down. We'll see how close they are on fuel. At the bare minimum, they may be able to gain a little bit on pit road by taking less. Chase down a lap. Denny's just down 1 lap. All right, now they're back down 2. Transponders don't know what they're doing right now. And let's see if this is accurate. AJ will be getting his lap back here. Let me make my notes here. Not much has really happened. I mean, we had a ton of like pit strategy happening, but not much went on. I need a complete report of all the penalties we had there on the first stage. ResDog said BK and JL. So I guess you are a big Penske fan. But now Penske and RFK, both up there. You know, even though Joey and Brad aren't teammates anymore, they run really close together, if not just straight up working together at these plate tracks, because they know each other so well. They're still manufacturer teammates. So, and it's always interesting to see that reunion there. Blaney was kind of doing his own thing for a lot of that stage, and somehow he even grouped up with the rest of the Fords. Like, the Ford guys played that perfectly. If stage 1 was the full race, I mean, the Fords nailed it. We'll see if they can run that strong in these shorter stages. Look at that. I kind of called it. Bubba Wallace taking 2 tires there. He's going to cycle to the front, and I think his left sides are only like 5 laps old at this point, if that. Am I going to do the Nashville O'Reilly race on May 30th? Probably. We're here for pretty much every race. And then after the race, we do a post-race show. So we will also be live for that today. Probably. Might truncate it. We'll have to see. I might do some Googling. Christian says he doesn't think anyone will go a lap down this stage unless it's like the 44. Yeah, I mean, if you lose the draft, if you lose the draft early, you definitely have a shot, because the rest of the field shouldn't be fuel saving at this point. And you're going to be running 2 to 3, maybe even 4 seconds off the pace. So it definitely can. That would be interesting, Jason. We haven't had as many calls this year as we have last year. Last year we actually had a few really good calls. But honestly, it seems like everyone that's interested enough to tune into the post-race just comments what they're thinking. And so after I get done with the race recap, I just read the comments, and I've pretty much seen everyone's thoughts and opinions at that point. Go to the NASCAR timeline and see what our penalty report is. Briscoe overshoots, hits a crew member, has to back up, safety violation. Dan Hamlin penalized too fast. That is a giant shaved ice cup that kid has. Nice. That family is having a good time. This family, they come down to Talladega every year and then head to Florida. That's a good trip. That's awesome. Big Bills. It's an indoor area. I do think it has a bit of climate control at the bare minimum. It has a lot of shade and has tons of fans in there, like big ceiling fans. And they have a giant TV in there, several smaller TVs, and multiple food vendors. And you can also see the garage area. So as the big ones happen, if they happen, you can see the cars getting worked on in the garage. Pretty neat. Stacy's on board. She said, sure. Let's see how this goes. All right, green flag in stage 2. Already 6 laps into stage 2. Run under caution. So Chastain leading the inside, Bubba Wallace on the outside, on a very different strategy from the rest of the field. And then a ton of Fords behind him. A ton of Fords. Whoa. Looks like Bubba maybe thought about going down to take the inside, but was not clear. At the bare minimum, they got close. Oh, man. Chastain's in his jockey scheme. The one that has his mostly naked body on the door. That's a wild scheme. I guess it's a really good scheme, though, for an underwear company. Unique. Carson Hocevar jumping up to the high side. Right in front of William Byron. Joey doesn't always give the safest pushes. I would not be shocked to see Bubba eventually go down and just run that inside line. I wouldn't want to have Brad on my bumper with this much race left. But my joy, just throwing shade to Kentucky. He said, I forgot about Kentucky Speedway. Most people already have. Oh, please, Hulk Hogan, please. Hulk Hogan, I need you to cut a promo. Please. That's funny. Speaking of the post-race, who's going to win the race? I have to go ahead and make my post-race overlay. Does Ryan Preece finally win? I mean, Blaney's hard to bet against. I went ahead and put Preece. Not that I have any insider information. Byron, that's very hopeful. Bubba, Joshua says Bubba's going to win. It could happen. He gets some of his best runs there, so I wouldn't doubt it. We'll just have to see. Oh, gross. Some of these overlays are terrible. So we have Priest pulled up right now. Obviously, you know, we're going to have to change that at the end. But I always just put up a placeholder. And just in case it's correct, I already have it ready to go. A little look at that. So after the race, as a reminder, after the race, we will be doing our post-race show coverage. Honestly, not much has happened today. Like, I mean, there was a ton out on track of like pit road stuff, speeding penalties, guys on different strategies. But as far as, you know, what I usually talk about is different cautions that have happened or guys having major issues on track. We haven't really seen that. Let's go back to the timeline. I need to see if more guys had issues. Cindric misses pit stall. I don't see any other reports of major issues. Ryan Preece is the new Ryan Newman. Yeah, in more ways than one. He's the literal namesake. So we're about 3 wide all the way through the pack now. The outside line is really formed up. I guess more guys dove over there because Byron was leading the line initially. And then Hocevar pulled up there in front of Byron. Now it seems like they have a few more guys leading the way. See Suarez up there. Custer up there in the outside. Millions. That's the answer, Jason. The millions and millions of Hulkamaniacs. Even 4 wide further back. Might have been Byron putting them 4 wide. Yeah, it's 3 wide mostly, and then we have 1 lane of 4 wide. Denny's still a lap down. Uh-oh. We're going 4 wide now, further back. The Fords have gotten split up. We'll see if they can group back up, but we are 4 wide through a lot of the field now. And we're running 48 second laps. We are not fuel saving. This is genuine 4 wide and 3. Oh no! Bubba Wallace in the wall. It's the big one. It's the big one. The whole field. It's the whole field. The whole field. There's about 4 cars that made it out. Oh my goodness. The big one on lap 115. Ryan Preece got out of it. Red flag it. Red flag it. Red flag the race right now. Red flag. I see Zilich, Kyle Larson. Looks like Blaney's involved. I mean, it's everybody. Everyone's in here. Cody Ware. I think I saw Suarez go around. Reddick with damage. Oh, no, it's a caution, definitely. But are we going to get a red flag? I don't see how we don't throw the red flag. There are so many cars. This would take 25 laps to clean up. Bubba's out completely. So his day's done. Joey Logano, his day looks done. Oh my goodness, what just... I might be a genius. I put Ryan Preece as our post race, and he's one of the few cars that survived that. So now, whoever's able to keep driving, they're going to be running with damaged cars. And we've seen, I mean, these cars can take a beating. And even Tyler Reddick was able to win with a busted up race car at Atlanta. You know, it comes down to the steering damage. Kyle Larson's trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do. He may have just high-sided it. Yeah, Bubba's car started to go over. That was close. Bubba Wallace off the nose of Ross Chastain. Blaney almost had it beat. Almost. I don't know if there's a single car further back that didn't get into that. Yeah, that makes me a bit sad that we just wadded up the whole field, because it's only going to be a few cars that are clean, and the majority, I mean, I wouldn't say the majority, a lot of them are going to go down a lap. We had such a good race going there. Finally, we got into stage 2, and the racing picked up. We were 3 and 4 wide full speed. It looked really fun, and it just went wrong. Whoever decided to make the next gen, or the Gen 7 car, have a rounded rear bumper, we should shoot them into the sun. Just into the sun. These cars are already, like, you know, they already get upset when you get bumps sometimes. Even with that massive flat rear panel we had on the Gen 6, they would still get upset. And so NASCAR thought to themselves, how do we make it even harder to push at a plate track? I know. We curved the rear bumper. That's genius. Well, man, I don't know where Hamlin was running there, but that may have just worked out for Hamlin and Briscoe. It's just going to be down to a few clean cars and whoever can get their car repaired enough. Reddick didn't look like he had too much damage. Like somehow Reddick, the guy with 5 wins this season, is the one that makes it through pretty clean. Like, really? Give him one bad day. Come on. Some guys have all the luck. Did Hamlin get involved? Most likely. If not, I mean, he's still a lap down, but that's what I was asking, you know. I don't know how Hamlin made it through, but he was probably trying to race his way into the free pass position. So he may have been right there in the middle of it. The good thing is the further back in the pack you are, the better chance you have of getting slowed down. And so maybe you get some front end damage, but you may not get run over. Because what happens to a lot of guys that are running mid-pack whenever it breaks, you know, breaks down, when things go off, is they might be able to slow down and make moves to avoid what's in front of them, but then they get run over from behind, and you see it all the time. So potentially could be clean or even just, you know, in a decent position now. We'll see. Byron damage. Gibbs some damage. Briscoe looks pretty clean. So a few guys were able to make it back around to pit road before the red flag came out. Reddick's car looks pretty clean. Just give him one bad day, please. Bowman was up on the high side there. He probably got some big damage there. We'll see. They were moving too. That outside line was coming forward. Man, Brad was having such a good race. This all got set off earlier when the Fords got split up. If they had stayed dominating the inside and middle line, this probably doesn't happen. I mean, occasionally this kind of thing will happen at Talladega. You know, oftentimes you'll see the wreck come from mid-pack, and so the leaders are safe, but sometimes it is the leader that has the wreck, and it stacks up the whole field. And if you're too wide and a big one happens, or a wreck happens, you have more places to go. If you're 4 wide and the big one happens, you're done. Like, you have nowhere to go. Oh. All right, I bet we have a replay. We'll get it pulled up for you guys. If the Fords had stayed together, this probably doesn't happen. I mean, we may get a big one, you know, in the alternate scenario too, but man, I would have liked to have seen them run at least the rest of this stage. That was really fun. 3 and 4 wide. You know, not a ton of passing, but visually it's really cool. And they weren't fuel saving. They were going all out. And one push went wrong, and that set off this chain reaction here. Yeah, Blaney was so close. He was about to be the last car clear. And Blaney, he has a knack for that happening to him a lot. There are several instances of Blaney being clear of a wreck, and then last second gets hit in the right rear and up the track into the outside wall. Blaney's had some really hard hits in his career. I hope Chad Fincham's okay. Remember, Bubba cycled to the front on 2 tires. If he had stayed on strategy with everyone else, again, this doesn't happen. That's why it's important to watch the whole race so you know the events and the story or the plot points, you know, that led to where we are now. That's my argument for not just tuning in for the last 10 laps. Like, sure, that's the pay window, but you have no idea or no clue how they got there. I wonder if we have a list yet of everyone involved. Right, it looks pretty banged up. It didn't look too bad. It was a little lopsided when he came down pit road, but he was still able to make it. We'll just have to see if he has any steering damage. If these were sheet metal bodies, I would say 80% of the field's probably out of the race. But with these, you know, hard, sturdy, next-gen composite cars we have, a lot of these guys are going to continue with. Oh, it did look like Reddick had a little steering damage. Maybe I thought it maybe just had a tire down, but on this replay at the tail end of this, it looks like Reddick had a little skew to the car. We'll see if we can get a replay of that. There it is. Take a look at this. Yeah, that car's not tracking straight, but they may be able to repair it if it's just a toe link. If something else has been, his day is pretty much done. That's why they needed to go back to truck arms. We had much less steering damage in the days of the truck arms over this independent rear end. There's a group in the back that made it. They slowed down and got stopped. I'm wondering if Hamlin was in that group, because, you know, we're keeping an eye on that. We'll go back to the replay in a second. We go back to the leaderboard. Hamlin still scored a lap down. If this is accurate, I don't know if Dylan made it through, but he would be the lucky dog guy. But, you know, these guys, even though they're a lap down, as I say it, they give Austin Dillon his lap back, I guess. And Denny's now the first car lap down, so he is allegedly still a lap down. I just don't know if he made it through clean or not yet. Hamlin made it through. Well, congratulations to Hamlin fans. I'm so happy for you guys. If you're a fan of the other 90% of the field, I'm sorry your favorite driver got involved. Man. The wreck started, so we'll go back to the replay. So the reason I was looking at Hamlin is I just want to know if he got through clean, because if he did, him being a lap down probably saved him here. Yeah, look at him back there. Did Briscoe also make it through? I mean, even if you just went through the grass or got hit by one or two cars, probably better off than the guys that were right there where it set off. But man, it just happened so slow. If they had just stayed in the outside wall in the fence. Yeah, if they stay up, so this is what I was thinking in the moment. Okay, Bubba's out, but the rest of the field might make it through. It would have got really hairy back here with 4 wide, so it probably would have at least taken out, 5 to 7 cars. But it looks like they might stay up the track. And Suarez probably thinks he's going to clear as well. And then, I don't know who was leading this outside line. Is that Custer? Yeah, that was Custer. So Custer comes back down the track and then just takes out the rest of the field. Just really sets this thing off. That's rough. The big one strikes at Talladega. That really sucks because I was really enjoying the race we had going on there. Byron's still going to win. We'll see. Probably a couple guys around him. Let's see. Daniel Dye still scored 2 laps down, so that's a ways to go. Briscoe 2. Larson's now scored 2 down. Brad, Barry. So pretty much all the guys that had to get hooked up and brought back around have gone 2 laps down. All those Fords that we were talking about that were running so strong. Blaney, Logano, Brad. Taken out right there. Chad Fincham, he led this race at once and boom. Oh yeah, Josh Berry is also back there. I don't know if I called him out, but that is rough. Hamlin's still 1 lap down. Dillon as well. Kyle Busch now scored 1 lap down. So there's going to be a big battle just for the lucky dog spot. Larson's crew is back behind the wall trying to get the rear end fixed. So they're going to try to make more laps, but they're going to go several laps down here. But due to some cars being damaged and other cars not being damaged, we might actually see more passing. You might actually see more passing there. Biggest Cole Custer Cup moment? Probably correct. Is today's Hocevar's day? Right now, Chase and Bowman still scored up there. We'll see if this holds, but if it is, congratulations to Bowman and Elliott for making it through. Because Elliott so far, you know, he was running in the back earlier in the race, probably to just save his stuff, but he wasn't having a great day. We'll at least have, if this holds, we'll at least have 2 Hendrick Chevys towards the front. Looks like Byron got damaged, but probably still just on pit road making repairs, and then Larson's off the track completely. Depending on how cautions fall, we might see some of these guys get their laps back, but it would have to be through the waiver round, so we would need several more cautions. There are just so many cars a lap down. You know, they may still be running with the lead pack, but it's going to be hard to earn your lap back here. So, man, disappointing day for Byron, for Larson so far. The Fords look so strong and just taken out in one moment. You could really see the A-post flaps working, keeping Bubba down. I mean, it got close. Bubba's car was lifting for sure. You can go back to that exact. You see it lifting there. So there's the flaps on the rear end of the car. That's probably did more help there. But yeah, those flaps deployed pretty much immediately on the roof of the car. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, you can really see that A-post flap as well. And, I mean, interesting time right here. So the rear end flap deploys the quickest. But right after, bam, it just flops open. In one frame, it flops open. And it started to pick up. And even more important, or I guess even more key to Bubba potentially flipping here, is he takes contact. And in the exact place that you don't want to get hit, but because of, I guess, all these flaps now, man, I didn't see it jump up a second time. It got up a second time. Yeah, just hovering in the air. Whew. Rear end picked up completely off the ground for probably 50 feet. That was wild. Guys in the back begging for the big one. They need another one. These guys that are further back now. Yeah, I mean, without flaps, Bubba goes over here. There, he gets up a little bit, partially because of the contact. But once he's fully backwards, the car picks back up for a long time. And he had a car pushing him, you know, nose to nose. Without some of these flaps, that car gets up on its roof, maybe on top of other cars. Hamlin wants a wave around. He's mad at Bell. Tell the 20 to pit he needs to top off or something. That's hilarious. So they awarded Dylan and then they unrewarded Dylan. I don't know. Something happened there. No one eligible for the wave around there. I mean, they had Dylan scored a lap down, and now he's not. But NASCAR's saying there was no free pass. Broadcast may have just had that wrong. Yeah, Bowman and Chase still up there. I don't know how Bowman survived that. If you go back and look at the replay, he was towards the tail end of that outside line, but he was still in the outside line. I wish we could get a better angle of that to see from the infield so we can see what happened there. Always Bubba causing trouble on the track. Howard, I think you have, you know, partially a point there. I think if I was in Bubba's shoes, if my teammate has won 5 races and I haven't won a single one yet, it's going to start eating away at you. And that usually happens with teams. If you have one team that's just winning over and over and your teammate's not, a little rivalry develops there. Even if on the surface things look okay. And it happened between Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. Jeff owned that car. He should have been happy about it winning, but yeah, it starts to bother you when that happens. But I wouldn't really completely blame Bubba there. Part of it is just, you know, there weren't any other Toyotas up there, but also you got to take into account the rear ends on these cars are curved. They're not flat like the old generation, so they don't take pushes as well as they used to. But also, you know, any single push that these guys take during the race could cause that kind of accident. I didn't see anything egregious there from Bubba or Chastain. Just disappointing. I'm very disappointed that we got a big one this early. I'm okay with one with 5 to go, or on the last lap. But with a whole stage left, when racing was really picking up 3 and 4 wide, it was going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm actually a little more excited now that some of these guys have damage, you know, in a certain way, because we may actually see some speed differences. So you may have comers and goers. You might have some gaps between cars. So we might potentially get a more traditional plate race. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. They may just still get packed up, but only 5 rows deep instead of 10 rows deep. Did you know that Joey's jealous of Bubba? It's the reason why is Bubba gets more booze than he does. They definitely do go head to head. Joey and Bubba at this track. Even though the older a driver gets, usually the less booze they get, because people, you know, they've been around for ages, they're veterans. People start to respect them. Hamlin already jumped out to try to go 3 wide. Not really sure why. Not any help. They're going to lose a few spots here. Interesting decision from Denny there to pull out. I don't know if he got shoved out of line, but I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to avoid the next big one. You know, it's always better to be the guy that causes the wreck than the guy that gets wrecked. Chastain out there leading the pack right now. His day didn't get ruined. His chances greatly improved. So if one of these guys will cut down a tire here quickly, we might even see these guys able to work on their cars a bit more. And somebody out there is running with a parachute on the front of their car. I see Cindric has some front end damage. Hocevar trying to go to the high side, working with Hamlin. The Hamlin Hocevar connection. Well, now Jeff Gordon owns part of all of Hendrick Motorsports, but I think specifically when he was driving, he was listed as the owner of the 48. So Gordon has what? Uh-oh. Caution. Lap 124. Ty Gibbs bringing out the caution. Oh, the right front toe link break, or did it break after contact? All right, so that's going to allow some of these guys further back to make more repairs. And Kyle Busch might be our lucky dog. Kyle Busch may be back on the lead lap here. We'll just have to wait and see how it shakes out. This usually takes a few laps for this to become official. Once they go down a lap, the transponder gets freaked out. And I don't know. I don't know if you pit if you're the rest of the field. So there may not be a wave around. So some of these guys probably going to be trapped down a lap still. Suarez a ton of damage on the front end of that car. Man, Hamlin got lucky. Hamlin got so lucky. Denny Hamlin with the break of the century there. If that right front holds on for another 5 feet, Denny Hamlin gets left reared insanely hard, or it just straight up walled. Oh my goodness, Denny Hamlin just dodged a bullet. Southern Belle says the one caused that wreck, not Joey. I don't think anyone was blaming Joey there. I mean, can you even blame Ross there? He didn't do anything bad there. He just gave a push the 23 didn't take. Yeah, that's maybe how it is now. But when he was racing, it was the 24 and 48, which clearly you understand what happened to those teams and those charters. You know, the 9 or the 24 became the 9. The 88 became the 48. The 48 became the 5. Like, it, you know, there was a lot of shuffling going on over at HMS. It's a lot. It's a lot that happened. Primarily because Chase Elliott changed the 9. And the team stayed with him. I don't know. A lot happened. But now Jeff is, what, executive vice chairman or something over at HMS? So he's more than just a part owner. Yeah, you know what's happening, Howard. Yeah, vice chairman and co-owner of HMS. Serving as second-ranking official to Rick Hendrick since 2022. And is being prepared to take over operations. We'll see how that goes. We're probably, you know, a few years off from that happening. '23 needs to learn how to overtake. His perception's not very good. I mean, he was in the lead, so I think he did well enough. It's just, I'm not going to blame either driver for that. We've seen that kind of wreck over and over on these plate tracks, especially with this Gen 7 car. The rear bumpers are rounded. They're not meant to take pushes like that. If it was the Gen 6 car, if it was the car of tomorrow, pretty much flat front end, flat rear end. You can push really well in one of those older generation cars, the Gen 5 cars, and the rear ends being, you know, flat on Gen 6. But I mean, it's just, yeah, unfortunate that happened so early. And Earnhardt never raced like this. So, like, you know, I got the Earnhardt hat on. You know, this is his track. But Earnhardt never had to race with a Gen 7 car. And he would hate this kind of racing. He would probably hate it just the same as Tony Stewart did. But it is a spectacle. That's why people like it so much. They're playing an earlier interview with Kyle Larson. You can tell it's not live because there are still guys racing in the background. Yeah. We get people in here every week talking about Dale Still. And every time at Talladega I've been there, a lot of people, they still put up the threes. I still do it. You know, yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw the O'Reilly race yesterday. Southern Belle, Luke. It was a great race. Fantastic. 3-4 wide, all out. Guys were able to fall back to the back and make it back to the front in just a few laps. Extremely, you know, entertaining, but also really good racing. Even though it was packed up, but not like this is. This race was starting to pick up. The start of the race, you know, they were fuel saving. It wasn't great. And we started stage 2. They were pushing really hard. And you guys see what happens there. The patience isn't there with a lot of drivers. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You know, they were already going 3 and 4 wide at the start of stage 2. We still have a whole third stage left. So, I mean, there's no reason to be pushing like that this early in the race. Those are the kind of pushes you expect with 20 to go in the race, not still 90 laps to go in the race. Remember when you were bullied for being a Gordon fan? Yeah, my earliest years at Talladega, Junior and Gordon, they weren't teammates yet. And all the Junior and Earnhardt Sr. fans would boo me. I was a little kid, and I was getting booed and heckled by grown adults. How does that make sense? Dude, Denny Hamlin is the luckiest driver on earth. At least today. It turns out being too fast entering probably just saved Denny Hamlin's day, because he was able to dodge the big one, and he just narrowly avoided getting hit by Ty Gibbs by like 12 inches. Yeah, that's kind of how it happens, Howard. NASCAR, or a lot of sports and interests, get passed down to the generations. My grandfather was a fan. He raced dirt cars on some local tracks, even owned a team for a while, and then owned a team up here that raced modifieds. And he passed the interest down to my dad, and I got it from him. So yeah, it's a multi-generation thing for a lot of us. A lot of drivers have speed, just no handles. That's a real statement. That happens. Guys like Cletus, he raced in the ARCA race. He's kind of that way. He's a fast driver. He's just got to work on consistency now and racecraft, because he could have won yesterday's race if he had just held his car high. But he came down the track and nearly wrecked himself, ended up losing the race. But second place, not bad. But Cletus has speed. Got to work on the handling aspect. And Corey Day was like that last year. Corey Day had a ton of speed, would go out there and qualify top 5, maybe even run top 5, but then he would wreck half the field or himself. This year, he's done a lot better. He still has the speed, but he's cleaned it up a lot. Still some work to be done there, but Corey Day getting his first win yesterday. Huge for him. Imagine this generation of drivers had no power steering. Yeah, one guy that could do it, not racing anymore, but Ryan Newman. If any driver could do it, it was Ryan. That dude built like a brick house, you know what I'm saying? And he did it a few times. I remember his power steering failing, I think when he was in the 6 car, and he still got it around the track. Count down the days to the Indy 500 Coke 600 weekend. Yeah, I've been watching the Monaco historic races the last 2 nights. That's been really fun, watching old formulas go around the track. But it's a shame Monaco had to move their date, or did move their date, because they ruined the greatest day in racing. Not necessarily ruined, but definitely took away from the prestige. So Chastain's still out front. Bell second. Buscher's going to the inside here. He's going to get together with another Ford on the inside line, working together with Todd Gilliland. Yeah. I mean, the 500 was always, my favorite part of the day, but the 600, being NASCAR, that's always really fun. Longest race of the year. Welcome, Bear Boy. Name Yogi, so you like Yogi Bear? I got you. I want to go to the 500 one day. I've been looking at it. Don't think it'll be this year. Too much going on right now. But it will happen eventually. Hocevar just put... Is that John Hunter? 3 wide? I can't tell. Now, Kyle Busch did get his lap back there on the last caution cycle. I accidentally spelled Kyle Busch's name with an H. They're gonna wreck again? Oh yeah, I mean you could definitely see another wreck coming, especially if one of these repaired cars that took a hit but didn't break a toe link yet. One more small hit, maybe they hit a, you know, there's not really many bumps on this track yet. Maybe they bump another car. Anything could cause one of these toe links to fail, kind of like what happened with Ty Gibbs there, or with the composite bodies being broken apart the way they are. You could see someone cut down a tire potentially. That could set something off, or just a bad push. Yeah, there's definitely a trade-off of going to the track. At most tracks, you see a lot less in person. But if you're at a smaller oval, you see more. Like Bristol, for instance, where you can see everything. But, you know, going to the track, you get to see the excitement. You get to be around 250,000 of people. Pretty wild. Southern Bell says, look who's up front, the usual. Yeah, Chastain up there right now. Bell challenging to the outside. And Cody Ware is still in this race. And he was stuck in the grass. Is he scored some laps down, though? Or is he actually up there? Yeah, Cody Ware's actually scored in 8th place. That's incredible. Not a Toyota fan, but don't hate. Yeah. I'm about the same way. I mean, I own a Toyota, but my favorite car is my Camaro. I've been a Chevy and General Motors guy my whole life. But yeah, Toyota is not my favorite. Even though most of their cars that are sold over here are made in the United States, it's not a U.S. company, so they don't get my support like Ford and Chevy do. Newman was ahead of his time. He had engineering master's degree from Purdue. That's right. That's right. Smart guy. He's a farm boy with the brain of a mechanical engineer. King Mako says Ford gang. Now, speaking of Ford and Ryan Preece, who's still in this, Ryan Preece dropped some pretty cool merchandise this last week. It's not being shipped yet, but it should be shipping within the next couple months. It's some astronaut-themed merchandise because, you know, it's making a joke about how many times he's flipped and gone in the air. But it looks pretty cool. Have this field had penalties in stage 1? The penalties saved a lot of them. Like, the only reason Hamlin is probably still with as clean of a car as he has is because he was so far back. He missed that big one. He probably would have been right in the middle of it if it happened the way it did, you know, in our timeline. Honestly, if Denny doesn't get the penalty, the race probably plays out completely differently and the big one doesn't happen on that lap. But we'll never know. Right now, Cindric's outrunning Hamlin. Hamlin keeps trying to go to the high side, making moves, but it's not working. Can't get anyone to go with him. I like how close some of these major cities are together, though, in the Northeast. Just take a train. Washington to Philadelphia. All the way to New York City. Then you can go even further up into Connecticut, and Boston, wherever else. The Northeast Corridor makes it convenient. Because I prefer trains over planes, but when you're going really long distance, you can't beat the speed of a plane. Hocevar's trying to go up to the high side, make something happen. He's going to lose his only helper. He's going to slot back in. Hocevar's trying to make something happen. These cars just can't get a run. If this was the O'Reilly race, Hocevar's probably leading or making moves to get to the lead. Boston is clearly superior to New York City and Philly. Bold opinion. DC's mid-Atlantic. Yeah, technically. From other people's point of view. To a southerner, though, anything above Kentucky is north. And Kentucky's borderline. I love New York City. Wish it was a bit safer. It's, I know there's so many people in the city. The chances of a crime happening to you are very low. But where I live, we don't have people lit on fire on public transit. So there are pros and cons. West Coast is best coast. As far as climate, you're right. Yeah, technically, DC and Maryland are considered more in that mid-region, if not southern, because DC is, they call it the swamp because it's literally a swamp. We don't really have public transit. That's a lie. Just because it's not good doesn't mean we don't have it. Colts drafted some good guys. Just needed to draft a new O-line. Just a completely new O-line. Get some guys that can actually block for Daniel Jones. Still Chastain and Bell leading it up front. Only 2 to go in this stage. LIRR, best public transit. In terms of numbers, nobody beats the MTA. All right, Bell's going down to the inside line to block. Is Chastain willing to move up? Maybe get a push from Stenhouse. He is. And Bell's going to go up to try to block. This is normally when a wreck happens. All this shifting around. Buescher's closer to Chastain. Chastain's going to have his choice which line he wants to block. No help on the high side, but it looks like they're coming. He's going to have to choose here. Bell pushing on the outside, not going to be able to make it. Chastain's going to take stage 2. Yeah, who did get their lap back? He ran a 57. He backed out of it, it looks like. So Chastain taking stage 2. It was close. Bell and Chastain pretty much dominated that second half of the stage. A lot happened there. They're owned by the MTA. Yeah, I mean, it's like the Staten Island Railroad, which I didn't know Staten Island had a railroad. I knew about the Long Island Railroad. I've used it before. And the same as New Jersey Transit, the rest of the MTA, you know, the subway system. But I had not been on the Staten Island Transit. And I've been through Staten Island a couple times now, but never like actually explored much. Because I mean, other than a few places to eat, which are mostly around the port, you don't really hear of a lot of stuff to do in Staten Island. For a reason. Mostly residential. Hamilton pitted on the last lap because he knew he wasn't getting his lap back. Smart. That's kind of the move Bubba did to get to the lead. He pitted before the stage ended, knew he wasn't going to go a lap down, took 4 with like 5 to go, and then he shuffled to the front by taking 2 on that next stop, 2 tires and fuel. And it was a good move to get him up there, but then he had no help and ended up getting together with Ross. So that didn't go well long term, but short term, it was a really good play. Man, Hamlin, if this had waited another 100 feet, Hamlin's done. Check this out. So Gibbs has a good run here, and he's kind of straddling this inside line and middle line, but it looks like he's going to move up to the middle naturally, and then the tire lets go, and just by a foot, Denny Hamlin's day is saved. Was that McDowell that got crushed there? Yeah, that's McDowell back there. That's unfortunate for him. Some big contact there for Ty Gibbs. So I brought out our last caution. Oh, let's see this onboard here. Check this. I mean, you can see he has a huge run here. Coming up to the middle groove, and it lets go. I don't know if he got into the brakes at all there, but he almost took out Denny. That's 2 wrecks now Denny's gotten through on luck. He's lucky that he was too fast entering earlier. So he missed the big one. And now, just by pure happenstance, that tire holds up and Denny survives that one. So if Denny ends this day with a good finish, he is by far the luckiest driver. That's responsible for our last caution. I mean, go back to the one before it. On board here with Ty. This is what got him the damage. Little did we know this wouldn't be the last time we would be on board with Ty Gibbs. Let's see if we have another on board here. This one, Kyle Larson, stuck up on the high side. No, just nowhere to go at all. Then back down across the track. Even more contact. Not a bad interview there from Bubba. I didn't hear this, but got to figure out how to be pushed better, so I take responsibility. I mean, it's all you can do. I wouldn't even put the blame on him completely. These cars just aren't designed to take pushes with a curved rear bumper. And we'll probably see a few more bad pushes before the end of this race. All right, Buescher off pit road first. So Buescher up 3 spots, Bowman up 6 spots, Hocevar up 9 spots, Jones up 8, Elliott up 3. So a lot of big movers there on pit road. Probably still some guys working on the body damage. And so close there. That car just in the air. The back end completely off the ground. The contact from Larson there. So much contributed to that car almost going over. And it stayed on the ground. So it seems like NASCAR has this one pretty well planted. But somebody will find a way to flip it. Give it time. Just give it time. Let's go back to our running order. Jason said, time for another cig. Don't be like me and smoke cigarettes. Hear that from a lot of people. A lot of people say, don't ever pick up the habit. Good advice. A lot of people pick it up just due to the lifestyle they live, though. Let's say you work, or you go into the military. A lot of older military guys smoke because when they came in, smoking was more common. And when they came in, smoking was even more common. And when those guys came in, cigarettes were given out in your daily rations. So, it's just a long line of smokers. And smoking is a good way to kind of get a break from, the daily hassle of training. And so that's why a lot of people do it. Part of it is because you go to the smoke pit to learn information that you normally wouldn't have. And so it's a way to kind of figure out what's going to happen before it does. So that's one reason people take up smoking. And a lot of times it's the older guys that smoke. The older guys are usually the ones that are in charge. So it's a way to get in good with those guys too. So there's a lot of ways that you can become a smoker by being in the military. But also, maybe if you work a night shift somewhere, let's say at a warehouse, may have a lot of smokers there. I think it's a very lifestyle-based habit. A lot of people pick it up, not just because they wanted to smoke one day, but because it was an opportunity they frequently had. Yeah. I saw an interview with Dale Jr. and his wife on YouTube the other day. Jr. was a heavy smoker, apparently. But eventually he kicked the habit. Six Fords up there. I wouldn't mind seeing a Ford take the win. I already have Priest put on our post race, so Priest better bring this home or I'll have to change it. So by the way, as a reminder to everyone, after the race, we're going to be doing our post race show. So hope to see you guys for that. Maybe. We have to see how the rest of the race goes. Did they just say SVG got a speeding penalty? 21st. That's where they have him scored currently. Gragson cycled back. Hamlin back on the lead lap. I wish nothing but good things to happen to that 11 car. I think they have the golden horseshoe today. So much has gone right for Denny. There are so many ways that this could have turned out differently. I mean, a lot of it, man, Byron out of the race completely. That won't hurt him too much, or Larson. Like, they're going to earn their spot in the chase. Gibbs, this will hurt a bit. He is higher in the points, so this will drop him down. Bubba, he has a fair amount of points. This won't be too bad. But to a guy like Custer, this will drop him further from the cut line. Brad is still out there. Man, Brad had started moving up the points. They've been running a lot better. But at this point, the highest he can hope for is a top, 30. And unless more guys crash out of the race, I mean, he's pretty much stuck where he is. Sillage, I mean, not been much for him this year. Briscoe is going to drop a bit. He's finished well this season, but he doesn't typically run well in the stages, so he's lost a lot of points because of that. So far, Ryan Preece, 15 stage points. Busher, 15 stage points. Those guys are so consistent. Brad getting 9, that's going to help a ton. So these guys that crashed out of the race, even Joey got 8, so that's going to help their day. They're not going to completely end the race with a goose egg. So that, kind of moves up Brad from finishing 31st in terms of points up to like a 22nd. Not a bad way that played out. It could be worse. It could be worse. So they said Hamlin didn't get his lap back. So the transponders, they gave him his lap back temporarily, but now he's still down a lap. Hamlin's pretty much undamaged though, so he should probably get his lap back here. Is that 38 to go? Alex Bowman leading the inside line. Little squirrely. Oh, yeah, it doesn't look like he's taking pushes too well. Like, they stayed connected, but he was slipping around quite a bit. Carson Hocevar to try to go for the lead. Oh, that inside line stacking up a little bit. I don't like what I'm seeing here. We might see another big one here. We may have 5 cars finish the race. It's a rough time for Blaney fans. He's so good in this Gen 7 car, but his team lets him down time and time again, or he just runs into bad luck. And today was the bad luck portion. But that's part of why Blaney has the most the most restart passes, but I think he also has the most green flag passes in this car, is because his pit crew is so bad. He loses so many spots and immediately has to gain them back. Kind of wild, you know, to be the best passer in this generation of car, but yet not have remotely close to the most wins. Tricky. Right now, 2 black cars up there leading. Hocevar on the outside, Buescher on the inside. Neither driver has any manufacturer help. Inside line really stacked up there. Man, Eric Jones is all over the back of Hocevar. That 43 be a huge opportunity if they could win. Legacy Motor Club has run terribly the last several years. Really, since they might be running even worse than when they first went to Toyota. Yes, Byron is out of the race. That is right. Scroll back here. Billy and Byron, 35 laps down. Not fantastic. Christian says he'd keep an eye on the 38 Zane Smith. Wants to go just watch him peeking those under Cody Ware in the tri-oval. That could really split up the field. Cody's taking care of it so far. They say Toyota All Out is like, we're not going to show you a commercial, but then they just zoom in on some Toyota drivers. Like, this is basically a commercial though. Thank you, Toyota, for bringing us zoomed in coverage of one car. I appreciate it. This is not how you do an All Out. Are we riding the Dente? Right now we are. Carson Hocevar is driving his Intimidante scheme. in NASCAR 26, so many people are going to use that black Hocevar scheme online. You're just going to see dozens of them, and they're just going to right hook you every time. I typically stay away from online racing. Too much of a wreck fest. Yeah, definitely back roads, definitely. Ty Dillon right now outpacing Hamlin for the lucky dog position. So if we were to get another caution as they run, Ty Dillon gets his lap back. We'll see if that holds. Yeah, Denny's trying to make moves to get by Ty, but he doesn't have the help. He's right behind Ty Dillon. If he can just get one push, they could potentially leave Ty Gibbs behind. Not Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon behind. Can't really push. He's struggling to get to the rear bumper of Stenhouse. That's a great analogy. That is such a crazy story for Andy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name still. It annoys me. The announcers kept calling him Andy J. Or the commentators. It's like, just get someone to pronounce his name so I can learn how to pronounce it. But yeah, I mean, he didn't quite have enough sauce to get up there and push Cletus, but he survived, stayed in the race, and walked away with the win. Talladega, a big place for first-time winners. First-time winner in ARCA. First-time winner in the O'Reilly race. Will we get a third first-time winner? Bowman with a huge push there to Buescher. Buescher back to the lead. Completely clear of the outside line. I don't know if you want Hocevar pushing, though. He's probably going to stay down on that inside line. All right, Hocevar with a good run there to the line. Hocevar did lead that last lap. Chase Elliott, third line on the outside. Ryan Preece, teammate of Chris Buescher, behind Chase Elliott. Cody Ware's moved up to the outside. Not really a ton of like teammate support here from anyone. A lot of guys split up. Still, Jason said, bummed out he missed Corey Day's first win. We'll see if that kicks off more. Sometimes when guys break the ice, they click off a few more. He's ran so well this year that I wouldn't be shocked to see him win one or two more. I mean, he could win more than that, but he's had top 5 pace. He hasn't often had the race-winning, race-dominating pace. That's what I'm waiting for. William Byron fans, including me, when Byron... Yeah, it's been difficult. Just HMS as a whole is down this year. And Mr. Billiam Byron was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Does Reddick have a cut tire? Reddick's way off the pace. So that we're going to lose a car from our pack here. And that may have split a few guys up there. Yeah, trust me, like, I have so many William Byron diecasts and hats and all that stuff, so I would like it if he would win more. You know, I have the 24 stuff because I was a Gordon fan, but because Byron drives the 24, I support him somewhat. If Hocevar wins, does that mean we get free chilies? They do some kind of deal, I think. Cruz is going to be a monster. I've heard that from multiple people. We're under caution here. I see that carcass now on TV. So it looks like Ty Dillon's going to get his lap back. And Denny Hamlin, unless everybody pits, Denny Hamlin will still be a lap down. So he still has a clean race car, but he's stuck back there with the garbage drivers. I wouldn't say garbage drivers, garbage driving cars. That's a better way to put it. McDowell in the garage right now, not out of the race yet. It got close. It got close. If yeah, Ty Dillon definitely caught a lucky break there. He's lucky that Reddick felt it going down and it didn't just explode like Ty Gibbs did. Daniel Suarez has a ton of damage, or at least he did. And he's in 13th. That's pretty wild. SVG still in it. This may be just enough to keep him in the top 16 for today. My dog has his NASCAR hoodie on. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. He's tired. Boy, back down. All right, before we get back to green flag racing, I am going to go take a pit stop. Throw this away too. Yes, gas only, gas only. As soon as I sit back down, my dog made a break for it. Yes, interview my chair. I'm sure it has a lot to say. His lap down still, that's right. Oh, do we have a question? Denny on lead lap. Yeah, no. Sadly, no. For Denny Hamlin fans, it's sad. For me, apathetic, ambivalent. Yeah, Hamlin could get the wave around. So McDowell's back out on track. 38 down now. Brad's running out of laps here to gain any positions. You know, they'd have to have a big one immediately for Brad to gain any kind of spots on track. So at what point do you just call it? Like, we know we're not going to gain any more laps. Let's just go ahead and pull into the pit road. Maybe just staying out there, he could affect the outcome of the race. Maybe that's enough motivation to stay out. And if they fix it enough, I mean, maybe he could have some pace and help push. Chase still up here, Bowman up here. It would be huge for Bowman if he won. We get a first-time winner with Hocevar. Jones, it would be a big story. Stenhouse, he's won at Talladega a few times. You know, we're about due for our every 4-year Ricky Stenhouse Talladega win. So we're about due for one. You can see that happening. Dylan up here. I have the 3 hat on, so I mean, that would be something. Man, Kyle Busch, I mean, he's kind of trapped back here. They can't really make up a ton of ground in this car. It would take a lot for Kyle to move up through the field. SVG 14th right now. John Hunter, this is a, you know, if this holds, this would be a great finish for John Hunter and both legacy cars. This is about the best both of them have been scored all season. Suarez not terrible, but you know, he needs to be finishing about 5 to 6 positions higher at a minimum. All right, Harvick's taking Chris Buescher. Mike Joy just mentioned it about how it would be cool if Bowman won the race. We beat you to it, Mike. Gotta be fast to keep up. Oh, yeah, I need to look at the timeline. All right, we're on the backstretch, coming to the green flag here. Zillage got penalized. Why does it say lap 188? Zillage was penalized 1 lap for moving under red conditions. I don't know why that says 188. We're not at lap 188 yet. So the NASCAR website is broken. Love that. They also did an update for the Ty Gibbs caution, I don't think. I don't know what lap this last caution came out. Probably about lap 150. Probably about one lap 160 maybe. I don't know what actual lap it was on, but the NASCAR website doesn't have it listed. That's a good way to think about it, Southern Belle. Bowman wins this race, it'd probably help save his job for a year or two. It would definitely help. Bowman definitely needs a win sometime this season. He's in Hendrick equipment. If you're in a Gibbs car, if you're in a Hendrick car, if you're in a Penske car, you're expected to win one race at minimum. Hocevar with a good lead here. Now on the inside, Buescher's on the outside, so they've swapped roles from last time around. Now Hocevar has a Chevy pushing him, and Buescher has a Toyota pushing him. So things definitely look different than they did last time. Bizarro world, things flopped. Stenhouse pushing pretty hard on the outside. One more caution and Denny Hamlin will be unleashed unless he got his lap back there, do the wave around. Still one lap down. It's right, the guy that brought out the caution is running ahead of Denny Hamlin. Denny's in a super clean race car too. If he had any help back there, if this was the O'Reilly series, Denny would have already made his way back to the front. You're for the Bowman? Hey, I am too. I'd love to see it. But several of the guys up front, you could get pretty feel-good stories. Pretty much everyone in the top 6 are names that aren't often up there. Buescher, Hocevar, Jones, Bowman, Stenhouse, Dillon, all those guys. The most obvious person up there would be Buescher, then Elliott. Those two are up front more often than the rest of these guys. Zane Smith is up there in the top 10. Ryan Preece up there as well. Quite a lot of names up there. And we could even go 3 wide here in a second, so just wait for that. Prismatal said, please, Hocevar, lock in. Man, you gotta lock in right now. So Hocevar now 3rd in the outside line. He left Bowman. Bowman's now leading the inside line. Hocevar, he got lucky there. Almost got shuffled out. Now Hocevar has Ricky Stenhouse pushing him. Those two together could be a tornado waiting to happen. So now, is it Eric Jones leading the inside line and Bowman's pushing? A lot of things just shifted in one lap. Still Buescher and Hocevar up front for this. Let's see which line Hocevar goes with. Hocevar back up to the outside. Whoa! Eric Jones got really, really sideways there. Maybe Chevys shouldn't be pushing Toyotas if the bumpers just don't match. That was close. All right, Buescher to the inside. Hocevar to the lead temporarily. They're side by side. Huge push on the outside. This is going to make Hocevar clear for the lead. Hocevar could pull down a block if he wanted to. They're coming up on a lap car. Gonna be happy with whoever wins. It's gonna be a unique winner. I hope so. One big wreck could turn things around. Hamlin would get back on the lead lap with a fresh car, and it could really shuffle things up. Hocevar not able to get back down low and block that inside line. So Buescher back even with Hocevar. Man, this feels a lot like a Ricky Stenhouse kind of day. I hope the impossible happens. Everyone wrecks. Cody Ware makes it through. I would be so happy. Not for really any specific reason, but just because it's so unlikely for Cody Ware to win. That would be hilarious. Kelly Bell says her husband is the engineer for Bowman. Let's go. For sure, for sure. I would pull out a Bowman diecast, but they're all out in the living room in a display case. Looks like a telephone booth. I got a lot of Bowman cars. Hopefully whoever wins, I have a diecast. So that's mostly Hendrick guys. And two of them are not in contention, so I need it to be Bowman. Who knows? I may have to get the Intimidante scheme if he wins it. There's a chance we could see Chef Boyardee in victory lane. And even if Buescher gets shuffled out, there's a chance him and Priest could hook back up. Priest is not completely out of it. Bell's moving. That's what Christie says. Where's Bowman at? Bowman is in 6th right now. He's 3rd on the inside. So not a bad position to be. If I'm expecting a big one, I would rather be on the inside. That way I have more options to dodge the wreck. Yeah, I'm okay with having a big one. But if we're going to have one, I prefer it to be in the last 20 laps, not in the second stage. Because we had a really fun race going. Like, there's not as much passing as yesterday, but we were 3 and 4 wide going all out in that second stage, and it backfired a bit too fast. Yeah, I mean, Larry McReynolds, he usually has a stat whenever the last caution will happen. And once we get under like 25 laps, the chances of having a wreck go up tremendously. Jones is really locked on there. Stenhouse, he's won here several times before. Could we see it again? Somehow Bowman and Elliott need to get together. I don't know what they need to do here, but they need to get on the radio and make a play. Because right now they're running side by side, and it's great they're both in the top 10, but they have no teammate help, no manufacturer. But I guess Bowman has manufacturer help. But behind Elliott is Priest. Yeah, there's so much that can happen. And what you see a lot of times, I mean, if we run green, is you'll see a guy go to make a block and the line will get split up. And then it completely throws everything out the window. These cars don't get massive runs, though. So unless you have a push and a ton of draft, you can't really make a move by yourself. Zane Smith almost got under Austin Dillon there. Almost turned him around. And I wouldn't doubt Stenhouse tries to lock on this last lap and put, if we make it that far, and push Hocevar clear so he can make a move. What happened to Denny? Denny sped on pit road, went down 2 laps, eventually got 1 back, and since he's been 1 lap down, other people have been getting the lucky dog. He hasn't been able to get it back yet. But Denny, he's still 1 lap down. Even if we got another caution right now, John Hunter scored ahead of him. And because Denny's 1 lap down, he's racing with slower cars in the back, and he can't get anyone to work with. And these Gen 7 cars just don't pass very well on this track. They don't get the big runs. There's not enough gap between each car. Yesterday's race was so good. This one's still fun, but it's not as remotely close to as racy. I'm sure he would if he could. Luke says, "Come on, Elliott." Yeah, every once in a while the field will get stretched out a bit, and there's almost enough room where if Bowman or Elliott would back out of it, they could pull down and work together. But I don't think they're going to push their way by on the inside. So what they probably need is a gap to develop in front or behind Chase, and for the 2 Hendrick guys to go to the high side. I just don't know if that's possible because there's not a ton of room right now between each driver. Eric Jones around. Little debris on the inside away from the racing groove. Green for now. So Hocevar almost crashed out of it. Bowman's still in this. I know Eric Jones is ticked. Jimmy Johnson punching air right now. Eric Jones is stuck. Caution. Caution. It's going to come down to maybe a 4-lap, but we're probably looking at a green-white checkered. I mean, it may go the scheduled distance, but I think we may only get 2 laps. Potentially 3. That wasn't Eric Jones' fault. If this was the old car, if this was the Gen 6 car, he's probably not stuck here. But also, Hocevar took him out. Surprisingly weird race for Reddick. Yeah, even though he brought out the last caution, he stayed on the lead lap. So he's not out of it. And Denny, it looks like Denny did get by John Hunter at the very end there. So Denny Hamlin potentially going to be on the lead lap here. Yeah, we're not quite at overtime, but we may go to overtime. It's been taking them about 6 to 7 laps to get the race restarted. Even though this was just a 1-car deal with a little debris and a stuck car, we may not restart this until 2 to go. So in that case, we run the scheduled distance. But if they restart with 1 to go, they add a lap. So green, white, checkered. Then it would be overtime. So we just have to wait and see. All this where Denny Hamlin went, no shot. Unless a massive wreck happened, Denny's going to be stuck behind all of these guys still. And who does he work with back here? Reddick has damage. I don't know what's going on with AJ. Ty Dillon, he's had a Ty Dillon type day. Daniel Suarez, ton of damage. Kyle Busch hasn't had speed. I don't know what's going on with these two Fords. They were running better earlier, running with the other Fords, but after that big one, no clue. Cody Ware still mostly clean, but I mean, he's not going to run to the front. So, like, who does Denny have to work with? I mean, something special would have to go down. Oh, I understood that there's I understood the meaning of the comment. You know, we say that a lot when people like that win. I just wanted to break it down. 2007, Larry was peak NASCAR with all the energy. He added so much to the calls. Larry, he still wants to be in the booth, but NASCAR just, not NASCAR, Fox doesn't put him in the booth. And people have their own theories as to why that happens, but Larry has come out and shot most of them down. People are saying Larry doesn't want to be at the track. Larry is older and just wants to like Larry's like said no. Like, if they want to be in the booth, I would do it. Larry still has the sauce. I would rather have Larry in the booth than Clint Boyer. You know, you can have Clint Boyer still there. You can have him doing the fan interviews and stuff in the stands and in the infield. That would be fun. That would make sense for Boyer. It fits his personality. But instead, we have this booth that doesn't have a crew chief in it. Think we could see some cool strategy if we go to overtime. Yeah, I wonder how these guys are doing on fuel. Denny went ahead and came down, took fuel and tires, so he's ready for overtime potentially. Might as well, you know, smoke them if you got them. Now, let me see what I have in my notes. Let's see if NASCAR updated their site timeline. If this is still not up to date, I'm going to be ticked. Yeah, NASCAR just stopped updating the timeline. So I don't know what lap these things happened on. I'm just guessing. About lap 160 was that last caution. It's probably about lap 181 when the last one happened. Let's see if we have a replay of that last caution. We do. Get that pulled up real quick. Are you serious? We're just gonna have a one-lap shootout? No. 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 I don't. Oh, this better be a green white and not just a white and checkered. That's how ARCA does it, and I did not like that. One lap to get things settled. They're not even up to speed yet. McDowell just doing his thing. He's just out there, not bothering anybody. Okay. It looks like we're going to restart with 3 to go. I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. If it was just a white checkered out of, you know, super speedway, I didn't like that about the ARCA race. I know a lot of people don't like the green white checkered, but there's a reason we have it. And it's because fans hated when races ended under caution. You know, there'd be 3 laps to go in the race, a caution would come out, and you would run the last two under yellow. Yeah, I guess that's the pure way to do it, but it is disappointing not to see guys run to the finish. All right, coming back to the green. I'm going to have to update our... I don't think Priest is going to make this happen. Yes, Kyle Larson resurrected. All right. Bottom's kind of split up there. Bowman is all over the back of Hocevar. All over the back of him. Really good push so far. Little jitter there. A little jitter side to side. Bowman is locked onto the back of Hocevar. No help behind, though. No help coming from the three. The outside is the stronger line right now. That inside line is not formed up. The 3 isn't keeping up with the 48, and the 38 isn't keeping up with the 3. Did Denny have a good stop? He may have been the only one on pit road, so I would say so. It's not going to help him too much, though. Good old days when they raced back to the line. It was pretty wild. I like seeing guys get their lap back. Like the leader would slow down to let their friend back by. That was a respectful way to race. Like, that guy, he's done me a favor in the past. Slow down and let the lap guys by. All right, Hocevar clear to the lead. He's going to stay down. Oh. Austin Dillon's last push really upset Bowman's car. White flag. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Credit One Bank. Buscher's clear right now. Not anymore. Hocevar coming back on the inside. More help on the inside right now. But they can't get together. The inside, once again, cannot get together. Other times, backstretch is when the last big wreck happens. But these guys are not split. The inside line has no energy. They may have one last push at this. Can Elliott get back to Stenhouse? Hocevar is going to do it. Carson Hocevar. First time winner. All 3 races. ARCA, O'Reilly. And we also have a crash at the end. Austin Dillon taken out. Ryan Priest taken out. Bowman finishing 3rd. Chase Elliott 4th. Good recovery for those two are making it through the day. Carson Hocevar. First time winner at Talladega. That's going to be a popular win with a lot of people. And a very unpopular win with other people. Yeah, we're riding the Dente today. Eric Jones, tons of damage there. SVG is... Did I say Eric Jones? Christopher Bell. I had a flashback from the past when he was in the 20. Yeah, Bell, ton of damage there. I don't know if Bell made it across the line. I guess he did. Yeah, Chevy got it done. That's right. Yeah, Bowman stayed locked on there. Bowman didn't really have help from the 3. Hocevar's first win pretty much came from Bowman's pushes. Who is they the Fox broadcast? That didn't happen. Riggs, Chevy won all 3 races this weekend. Ooh, it was close. It was close to go in a different way. The O'Reilly race, you can pretty much guarantee that a Chevy's going to win it. So here in a second, we're going to end the coverage. We're going to go over to our post race. You don't have to go anywhere. It should automatically transfer you over. But I've got to update this because Ryan Preece did not win at Dega. There we go. How about that? Carson Osvar taking home his first win. Thank you guys for being here. You don't have to go anywhere. You can stay here. It should automatically transfer you guys over, or try to transfer you guys over to the post-race show. We'll just be going over the race recap. You guys can comment your thoughts. We'll read them out live on stream. Or you can, at a later point in the stream, call in and share your thoughts. So I'd love to see you guys over there. Thank you guys for being here for the Talladega race coverage, and hope to see you guys over in the post-race section.